Cupertino's search for a true identity. A centralized gathering place on or near Stevens Creek Boulevard, one that everyone in the community can enjoy, is the driving force behind the Heart of the City design charrette. The term charrette refers to an intensive brainstorming session. Its participants are a team of designers who will develop and illustrate concepts for the heart of the city. Everyone in the community is welcome to help our team of professional designers define a vision or future direction for a heart of the city. For the next 20 minutes, this program will take you along the 2.6-mile area of Stevens Creek Boulevard. Please refer to your copy of the Heart of the City Tour Guidebook, now available at City Hall. The guidebook contains a fold-out map, background information, and questions that accompany the 11-stop tour. Use your guidebook while watching this program, taking the walking tour, or doing both. And now let's begin our tour with an overview of Stevens Creek Boulevard. Stevens Creek Boulevard consists of 6 lanes, 2 turn lanes, 2 bike lanes, 5-foot wide sidewalks on both sides of the street, and a median strip. The boulevard has a 120-foot right-of-way. It is the second most heavily traveled street in Cupertino behind De Anza Boulevard. A range of 33,000 to 38,000 average daily trips occur on Stevens Creek, and the number of afternoon peak hour trips ranges from 3,100 to 3,500, according to 1990 data. The area was regulated by the Stevens Creek Boulevard Plan from 1983 to 1993, which emphasized commercial uses and 25-foot landscape setbacks between Stelling Road and De Anza Boulevard, and office uses and 50-foot landscape setbacks between De Anza Boulevard and the eastern city limits. Under the Boulevard Plan, allowed heights were 8 stories in Vallco Park in the town center and 3 stories in the remaining areas. Building intensity was regulated by floor area ratios of commercial at 0.25, office at 0.37, and industrial at 0.33, and trip generation of 16 one-way trips per acre, which depended on the location. Buildings were required to be sand-piled or step back from the street. 3 focal areas exist along the boulevard: the De Anza College Oak Shopping Center Memorial Park focal area, the Crossroads City Center focal area at De Anza and Stevens Creek Boulevards, and the Vallco Park focal area. Pedestrian access to the commercial and office uses is deterred by high traffic levels, difficulty in crossing, and the wide width of the boulevard. Pedestrians may also be affected by the noise level at the street edge, which is the highest acceptable level permitted in the general plan. Drivers may be discouraged from selecting places to shop along the boulevard due to the intensity and speed of the traffic. There are few land use activities which attract pedestrian activity or serve as public gathering places. Vallco Fashion Park, the Crossroads and Oak Shopping Centers, and Memorial Park do attract people. However, none of these locations can be easily identified as a heart of the city. These shopping centers are not easily accessed or visible from the street. Likewise, City Hall and the library area are identified with public use, but are not visible to the public from any major street. The landscape setback areas separate buildings and activity areas from pedestrian and vehicular access and are not inviting for browsing. The area has no cohesive architectural theme, and differences of opinion exist regarding maintaining the diverse architecture or developing a theme. The median landscaping consists of ground cover, trees, and cobblestones, and street landscaping includes sporadic lines of trees and lawn areas. Street lighting is a conventional Cobra style, and utility wires are located above ground in the median between Stelling Road and De Anza Boulevard, and below ground for the remaining area. In general, the design lacks character and does not successfully fulfill the goals of providing a unique pedestrian-oriented gathering place. And now let's begin our tour of the heart of the city at the intersection of Highway 85 and Stevens Creek Boulevard. At Stop 1, you are at the edge of the study area with the intersection separating this area from the western suburban sections of the city. Highway 85 is recessed and is under construction until late 1994. De Anza College and the Oak Shopping Center are the major landmarks to either side of Stevens Creek Boulevard. Notice also the distinctive trees along the edge of the college campus. This is a major entryway into the study area. When Highway 85 is finished, the off-ramps onto Stevens Creek Boulevard offer more exposure to Cupertino. The visual impression will be important, and more opportunities exist to create a stronger impression through landscaping, gateway signs, or monuments. Traffic impacts will increase, creating more congestion. The major land uses in this section are De Anza College, Oak Shopping Center, and Memorial Park, which includes the Senior Center, Sports Center, and Quinlan Community Center. This section is a major activity node for the city, providing a variety of opportunities. The College and Shopping Center offer somewhat interrelated activities. For example, students and Flint Center patrons gravitate to the shopping center for food and coffee. Several of the restaurants and the bookstore serve patrons from a wide geographical circle. The college is a major traffic generator in the city. In spite of the proximity and intensity of these major land uses, the connections are not fully utilized. De Anza College fronts Stevens Creek Boulevard with a heavily landscaped berm and large parking lot, creating a physical barrier. However, the De Anza trees create an attractive rural edge to Stevens Creek Boulevard. Changes to be made in this area are reflected in the 2005 De Anza College Master Plan, indicating that a conference center and a parking garage with ground floor mixed uses are envisioned for the intersection. The Oak Shopping Center is successful in the areas of restaurants and bookstores, but there appears to be consistently large numbers of vacancies among small shops. The Sports Center is cut off visually from the street by tennis court fences and windscreens. The other recreational areas, the Senior Center and Community Center, are not well connected visually or physically. A final difficulty is the lack of emphasis on pedestrian access among the uses. The car dealership at the northeast corner of the Stelling Road intersection is somewhat of an anachronism at this location, since most dealerships are grouped with other dealers. The retail store at the southeast corner is new, and its architecture is controversial because many people feel it is unattractive, but it is likely to remain. As you look down to the south side of Stevens Creek Boulevard, you can see the Pizza Hut, Fontana's, and the old post office. The old post office and Fontana's restaurant are possibilities for new development, as the property owners of these parcels are interested in redeveloping. A possible course of action is to demolish the post office, constructing a new commercial building in its place, and adding on to Fontana's. Redevelopment offers opportunities for fulfilling heart-of-the-city goals such as orienting buildings to the street, providing a pedestrian-friendly environment, and perhaps providing mixed-use residential uses. On the northwest side of Saich Way is a vacant restaurant and strip shopping center. A use permit was approved recently for a restaurant to locate there, limited to minor improvements and a 5-year time limit. This area is vulnerable to change since these are older small-scale buildings. During the general plan review, Saich Way was referred to by some as the western edge of the heart of the city. It was also proposed as a new side street for a downtown. If the heart of the city includes this area, then the potential redevelopment of the parcels is a good opportunity for implementing a pedestrian orientation and the other heart of the city goals. The general plan calls for 200 housing units on West and East Stevens Creek Boulevard, so these parcels need to be evaluated for possible residential and non-residential mixed uses. On the north side of Stevens Creek Boulevard between Saich Way and Bandley Drive, there is a shopping center consisting of a service station, Target store, and a small retail center. Target and the retail stores are oriented toward the large parking lot which fronts the street. The retail stores back onto Bandley Drive and have no street presence there. This area is not particularly vulnerable to change since Target is a well-established store and the retail stores are new. Due to the invulnerability of this center, it would be difficult to redevelop it to meet heart of the city goals. At stop 5, you can see that the 3 bank buildings in this area are not significantly oriented to the street frontage. A large parking lot, food store, takeout restaurant, and a strip of retail shops on Bandley Drive are located behind the banks. These uses, which are behind the parking lot, inadvertently create a pedestrian-oriented street feeling. The vacant brick building at the northwest corner of the intersection is 43 feet high, and it is one of the few buildings in the study area which is oriented to the street. However, its cold exterior and previous use as a single-tenant office building have not encouraged pedestrian access. Unless the bank buildings are remodeled or redeveloped, it would be difficult to achieve heart-of-the-city goals in this area. The off-street development lends itself to fulfilling the goals better. The brick buildings could lend themselves to these goals if they were integrated into a large scheme. The large single-story strip shopping center is under two ownerships. One ownership includes Mervyn's as the anchor, the other includes a service merchandise center. You will see that the stores are separated from the street by a large parking area, except for the bookstore and service station. The Crossroads area, including all four intersections, is a strong candidate for the heart of the city, either as the only or one of several focal areas. The shopping center does not meet most of the heart of the city goals, but its strong viability makes it rather invulnerable to change. The service station is inconsistent with the Crossroads as a symbol of Cupertino Center and could be considered for change, since it may not be the highest economic use of the parcel. This intersection serves and has served historically as Cupertino Center, since the two primary arterials of the community meet here. However, the heavy traffic, wide streets, lack of pedestrian activity uses, and lack of design unity or uniqueness result in an indistinct center. Note that the lawn area in front of the towers is not complete. Final plans will be based on the direction provided by the Heart of the City plan. Given that the Crossroads intersection plays a significant role in defining Cupertino's character, it is a natural candidate for fulfilling Heart of the City goals. Historically, higher intensity uses have been envisioned for this area, and the new general plan continues this vision. A practical concern for realizing this vision is whether or not there is market demand for more commercial retail uses in this area, which are needed to attract pedestrian activity. Another suggestion is that the Crossroads area could serve as a symbolic heart with unique architecture, landscaping, or gateway features, but it would not have uses that attract pedestrian activity or serve as gathering places. The width of Stevens Creek and De Anza Boulevard and the heavy traffic discourage people from crossing these streets. Solutions proposed in the past include undergrounding De Anza Boulevard traffic so that the Stevens Creek intersection can be more compact. The underpass is estimated to cost $10 million. Even if the intersection were made more pedestrian-friendly, land uses in the area do not encourage pedestrian activity. There is little reason for shoppers to walk from store to store. However, office workers could walk to do errands or eat lunch. Additional integrated commercial uses may be needed to encourage pedestrian activity, but the market realities of locating them in this area need to be considered. The towers are dominant. No other buildings in this area complement or relate to it at this time. Obviously, the abandoned and existing service stations are unrelated. The brick building is close to the street and the tower is set back. Here at Stop 6, the major buildings in the town center area are the City Center development. It consists of two 8-story towers with 340,000 square feet of space. Two 4-story office buildings with 300,000 square feet of space, one 5-story 99-unit condominium, two open space areas, one in front of the towers and another in the rear, and a restaurant facing De Anza Boulevard. A 5-story, 250-room hotel has been approved on the vacant land between the towers and Stevens Creek Boulevard. During the general plan hearings, the property owners indicated an interest in building 200 housing units and 200,000 square feet of office space on the remaining vacant land. Beyond the city center area is an inactive parking lot, the Triangle site, City Hall, the library, and the town center office buildings. Looking east of City Center is a 106-unit condominium and a 168-unit senior residential development. Similar to the Crossroads intersection, this area has traditionally been Cupertino's center. However, it fails to meet the heart of the city goals since it does not serve as a unique pedestrian-oriented gathering place. Additional residential development would add activity, as would retail, but questions have been raised regarding the area's ability to sustain significant retail activity. Other suggestions to make this area active were made during the general plan discussions and included creating devices to draw people from the main streets into the central area or creating a small grid street system within the center for a downtown effect. Another concept is to unify the City Hall area with City Center. The 2.4-acre vacant parking lot, Triangle site, was used previously for a temporary parking lot. The use permit has expired and a parking lot would serve no current needs. This area is a mixture of commercial and office uses. Some of the commercial sites are underutilized and are vulnerable to change, such as the car lot and feed store. If you look at the southwest corner of the Stevens Creek Boulevard and Blaney Avenue intersection, you will notice it is also underutilized. An approved use permit could allow 11,000 square feet of office use at this location. Generally, this intersection is weak. The 50-foot landscape parkway required in the previous general plan, while not complete, is well established along this section. The 50-foot landscaping setbacks along the section of Stevens Creek Boulevard establishes a pattern that is not consistent with creating a pedestrian environment, since storefronts are not easily accessible to the pedestrian. Also, the mixture of office and retail uses does not foster pedestrian activity associated with shopping or entertainment activities. Some parcels in this section are vulnerable to change, particularly to mixed-use residential office or commercial. This vulnerability offers opportunities that other portions of the study area do not, although the landscaping setbacks are a constraint. As you can see at Stop 8, office uses dominate this area, and the 50-foot landscaping setback is very prominent. A 79-unit townhouse development is located at the Stevens Creek Boulevard Portal Avenue intersection, which was approved to break up the typical strip shopping developments along Stevens Creek Boulevard. Two retail developments, one at the northeast intersection of Stevens Creek Boulevard and Blaney, and the other at the northwest intersection of Stevens Creek Boulevard and Portal Avenue, are vulnerable to change. The former has a valid use permit to remodel the existing center and add 5,000 square feet of office space without changing the orientation to the street. As in Stop 7, the landscape parkways in this section are well established and some parcels are vulnerable to change. Major uses in this area are the Marketplace and Vallco shopping centers. Marketplace is an 83,700 square foot strip shopping center. As you look around, notice that the stores are separated from the street by the landscaping strip and parking lot. A bus stop is located in front of the center and landscape pedestrian access also provided. Recently, updated landscaping provides more visibility. Palm trees were substituted for trees with more foliage, but some people feel that they are too Southern California in appearance. If you look to the east of the marketplace, you may be able to see an older shopping center that might be vulnerable to change. Vallco is a 1,110,700 square foot regional center. An additional 1,545,000 square feet is approved and not built, consisting of retail space, movie theaters, and parking garages. One of the car parking garages is approved for the parking lot in front of Sears. Vallco Fashion Park is set back from the street and is fronted by dense landscaping. These factors reduce the center's visibility and accessibility from Stevens Creek Boulevard. Notice that distinctive trees line the street along Wolfe Road next to the shopping center. The Marketplace Shopping Center is not vulnerable to significant change. The greater Vallco Shopping Center area has been suggested as a major focal area, if not the heart of the city, since it serves as a gathering place and is a center of activity. Its drawbacks are its lack of visual and pedestrian access and lack of interrelationship with the surrounding uses. If the parking garage is built, pedestrian access from the street will be restricted further. The older shopping center might be redeveloped. One suggested concept is to eliminate Estates Drive as a through street and combine the center with the parcels to the east, which consist of a gasoline station, restaurant, and offices. As we've seen at Stop 8, the 50-foot landscaping setback is well established in this area. Notice the approximately 11.5-acre vacant parcels owned by Tandem Computer, which front Stevens Creek Boulevard. These parcels are the most prominent feature of the area. Tandem Computers presented a conceptual master plan to the city during the general plan hearings, which depicted R&D, office, and open space uses on these parcels. Calabasas Creek was diverted into a box channel beneath a portion of this vacant land and reappears above ground north of Vallco Parkway. The proposed open space would be located in these areas. The landscape parkway is also evident in this area. The vacant parcels, as well as a parking lot to the west, provide opportunities for fulfilling heart of the city goals. They could be planned to relate to Vallco Fashion Park, which could then assist in meeting the goals. A concern is that the proposed office uses do not lend themselves to public access, even if open space is provided. As you can see, most of the south portion of this section is unincorporated. Vacant and underutilized lots and an older shopping center are located in this area. Tandem Computer is located on the north side of Stevens Creek Boulevard, and their site incorporates the 50-foot landscaping setback. This section of roadway has more significant landscaping, and a gateway monument is located in the median. The southern side of Stevens Creek Boulevard is vulnerable to change. Several developers have inquired about locating housing or SROs, which are single resident occupancy developments in this area. Any changes in use should relate to Stop 10 uses and decisions regarding heart of the city goals. Thank you for taking the time to participate in the Cupertino Heart of the City Tour. We look forward to hearing your comments. If you recorded answers to the questions, which are located in the tour guidebook, or filled out the convenient comments sheet, please forward your answers to the City of Cupertino Community Development Department at 10300 Torre Avenue, Cupertino 95014.